Okay, here's question number 1 on your simple circuit lab. You have 3 40-watt light bulbs in parallel. First question is, what is the voltage across each bulb? You need to remember that the voltage in anything you plug into anywhere in the United States will be 120 volts. And therefore, if anything in the United States is 120 volts and anything is in parallel, whatever's in parallel has to have the same voltage everywhere else. So if you have 120 volts here, then everywhere else it has to be 120 volts also. So you have 120 that's going to be here, 120 that's going to be there, and 120 that's going to be down here. They all have to have the same voltage because they're all in parallel, and you're already given 120 volts is what you plugged in the wall. To get the current going through each resistor, it's going to be the voltage. We have the voltage, and we can assume that this 40 watts is correct. So we have P equals IV. The power will be equal to the current times voltage. We know the voltage, we know the power. If we need the current, we'll just divide it out. So I will be P divided by V. So P divided by V will be 40 watts of the light bulb, which we can trust because they're in parallel on 120 volts. We can trust that it really is 40 watts, divided by the voltage of 120. And we end up with 1/3 of an amp, or we could say 0.33. Later on, we'll probably use 1/3 because it'll just add up easier later on. But either way, 1/3 or 0.333 amps. And there's a current going through each one of these resistors. Now, if that's a current going through each resistor, then we know that when they all meet up, the current going through here, okay, we go through each one, current going through there. When they all meet up, the next question asks, what's the total current going to be? The total current will be, and this is actually going to be D, the total current's going to have to add up to a total. So 1/3 plus 1/3 plus 1/3 will end up with 1 amp. So total current is going to be 1 amp, and that's going to be 1D. To find out the resistance across each light bulb, okay, you want to know the actual resistance. It's a 40-watt light bulb, 120 volts. Once we know the current, we know that V equals IR. So to figure out the resistance, it will be 120 volts divided by 0.33. So 120 divided by 1/3 of an amp will get you that the resistance of each light bulb is 360 ohms. So that will be the resistance. So R for each and every one of these is 360. Now that's the one number that actually stays true throughout. So when we go to a parallel circuit, the power won't be correct, and it's not really going to be giving off 40 watts of light bulb or of power. However, it will always be 360 ohms. Okay, once again, for 1D, it says what's the total current. The total current will be the current of all three of these, 1/3 plus 1/3 plus 1/3. They all add up, so the total current going through the circuit will be 1 amp. Then it asks about the total resistance. And again, the formula for parallel circuits, 1 over R total is equal to 1 over R1 plus 1 over R2 plus 1 over R3. And that means you got to do a little bit of fraction math to figure it out. Now, there is one shortcut we can use here, and that's because because all three resistors have the same value, the shortcut is we can take the resistance. They're all 360, 360, 360, 360. So that means you can take the value of one resistor and divide it by the number of resistors they have. And so that means that the total resistance for the circuit, R total, will be 360 divided by 3, or 120. So R total is 120. Now there's another way you could have figured this out. Okay, the total resistance is also equal to the total voltage if V equals IR, the total voltage divided by the total current will also give you the total resistance. The total voltage is 120 volts, and the total current in this case is 1 amp. We figured that out already. 1/3 plus 1/3 plus 1/3, we had 1 amp total. So 120 divided by 1, and lo and behold, it's the same answer. Total resistance is 120 ohms. Okay, it says what's the power of each bulb? The power of each bulb will still be what we can trust, because it's in parallel and 120 volts, we can trust that they're all 40 watts, 40 watts, 40 watts all the way across. The power for the total circuit and the complete circuit, which is 1G, will just be power total will be equal to the total current times the total voltage equals IV. And it's going to be your current of 1 times your voltage of 120. Now you'll also notice that if you just added 40 watts plus 40 watts plus 40 watts, the power will still work out. If you added them all up, it's 120 watts. So you could have done adding all three together, 40 plus 40 plus 40 equals 120, or total power equals total current times total voltage. Total current was 1, total voltage is 120, and you get, once again, 120 watts with your power. And that's how you do question number 1 on the lab. Thank you.